So we have just resigned from our first club here in the Euro Journeyman. We spent a lot of episodes, 52 episodes at the same club. If you are brand new to the series, check out the playlist and go watch it from the beginning, because obviously at this point we are so far in the future. It's 2033. If you just join now, it won't make much sense. So go watch all of the episodes. But if you are obviously not new, you've been following along, then you know that obviously we've just left our club, BAIK, the Swedish club. We took them from a little fourth tier run all the way up to the top division. We left them with a top division cup, 3 league titles along the promotions, and yeah, we are now on the hunt for our job. There's a cat here. Let me get the cat out of the room so we can get into this job hunt for club number 2. The cat has been fed, so we can now get into the job hunt. So there are 19 jobs available as it stands. We are actually entering quite an interesting time period, because obviously with it being sort of mid-April, most of the leagues are sort of close to wrapping up. If we look at the second division in La Liga, as you can see, they've got 35 games played. So it's not necessarily, it's hard to say, it's not necessarily the best time to be looking at jobs, but certainly not the worst time either. I think the thing that I'm a little bit hesitant of is obviously all of these jobs now are basically clubs fighting relegation or have really massively underachieved and are kind of wanting to move on, like trying to find their next manager for next season. They've probably already decided that they're going down, and we've obviously got to be careful because we don't have every single league loaded. If I look at the leagues that we do have, there are all the divisions. So you can see some divisions like France, Germany, Italy, Holland, we've got second divisions and things like that, but some of them we are just in the top division. So we do have to be careful that we're not dropping too far. I think in terms of our budget at BAIK, we were spending around 100k, and we had about 40 left over. So we're looking really for a club that was bigger than that. We don't really think, I think sort of these sort of teams are below us. Honestly, out of what's available at the minute, I mean, Granada is a great 16th in the second division. It doesn't feel like a huge step up. All their players are purple. I don't know what that means. It doesn't feel like a huge step up. But if we look at sort of the valuations of these players, the sort of wages they're on, they're definitely earning more than what we were at the club. So I don't know if that's the kind of club that we should be aiming for. Other than that, I guess Austria Vienna is not a bad shout. But again, is the Premier Division, if we look at that, we're 17th in Europe. If we go back to BAIK, the Swedish division, was only 22nd, so it's not too far down. So I think we really want to be looking a little bit higher. St. Pauli in the Bundesliga is not a terrible shout, though they are, again, in a relegation battle. Would we really want to join and be, with 5 games left? We don't really want a relegation on the CV either. So I think what we'll do is we'll keep an eye on it. If there's anything that pops up interestingly, I think honestly, of what's available now, none of them really interest me that much. I don't really want to go. If I want to go to a second division side, I want to go to a good team in the second division. And if I want to go to like an Austria or something that's only a little bit of a step up, I want to be joining the best team in the league, not a team that we're going to build up to it. Falkirk, I definitely wouldn't mind going to the Scottish Prem. I think Scottish Prem, Turkey, or like a lower league top division side. So like France, Italy, Spain, Germany, those types of clubs. So St. Pauli wouldn't be a bad shout if it was maybe earlier in the season. But for right now, it's not screaming. I mean, the other thing is as well, is if I go on and I see some players in the squad that I like, that can also pull me. So someone like this, there isn't really anyone I really recognise that would want to like pull me into the club. Like I said, it probably is a step up. But it has to be something I'm genuinely interested in, and that just doesn't interest me. So I think we'll go ahead a little bit. Like I say, we are getting quite close to the end of the season, so I would imagine once the season's done, then there might be even more jobs available. The other thing is as well, is when we do join a club, we should be able to get started with basically a free, a whole clean slate with the transfer window as well. So we'll keep that in mind. I'll double check everything in this list that there's nothing interesting to me. But I think for now, I won't apply for any of these because none of them are really jumping out at me. But I will take a little bit of a closer look. but I will jump back when we have applied for our first. One job that has come available, we are now in the 19th of May, but it is the Monaco job, which I would feel is probably too big of a job for us. But I'm going to apply for it just because I want to kind of gauge sort of where we are in the football world. As you can see, there's still a lot of other teams in the insecure range who could definitely sack their manager. A few other jobs have come up, but nothing really. I mean, Family Cow, I guess. Servette of the Swiss Super League finished 12th. I mean, that's, we're talking teams that are not doing very well, which is obviously usually why they sack their manager. But a team like Monaco, who are finished 5th, which is an underachievement for them, but it's still a good team, and it's a team that would get into some sort of Europe. I mean, that would be a dream job. That would be a huge step up for us in terms of the valuations and things. I mean, looking at it though, they're not the Monaco of yesteryear. They are definitely. I mean, just looking at the valuations, they are not as good as they used to be. There's only really the goalkeeper and maybe one of the attackers who looks like they've got any sort of big future in the game. So we'll keep an eye on it, but that will be a brilliant one. They've received it, which is great. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But yeah, I don't expect to get that one. But that's the kind of job where I'm going to apply for it just on the off chance. Anything else at the minute? Like I say, I'm trying to avoid England this save if we can help it. Everything else really not jumping out at. The two more teams have come up on the radar. Obviously, Chelsea, Birmingham would be great, but like I say, we are avoiding England. Elche of the Spanish division and AC Monza of the Serie A have both come up. Now, they are both quite interesting jobs. Both got, quite a decent amount of wage being spent. Obviously, we were spending around 100k with their wage. Wage bill doesn't necessarily mean that's the budget you'll get. The other thing you've got to keep in mind is there is this board culture and things like that. So they want us to play defensively solid football. And so this is the thing. I think we've got to be real careful about our next job. The finances are insecure and they're getting relegated and they want us to play defensively solid football. So it just doesn't match up. You're going down a division with insecure finances and you want to play defensively solid football. Well, we don't play that. We play pretty much all-out attacking football. Then you look at Elche, they're going down, but it's a little bit more. I mean, we don't really like to use the club's youth system either, where I tend to sign players. So you've got to look at things like that. So for those reasons, those are two things that are actually putting me off applying for it. If Monaco come back and say you're not even getting an interview, then I think we'll probably start to look at applying for these teams. The longer it goes, the less picky we'll be. But because it's still early doors, I am going to be a little bit picky. But at the minute, those two, there's reasons I don't want to sign for them. I also don't really want to sign for a team that's just been relegated. But we'll keep on it. Not heard anything back from Monaco. I wouldn't expect to get the job. But again, it's early doors. But I do want to kind of get in before the 1st of July, if possible. So we still haven't heard anything back from Monaco. But one job that's come up that really interests me is Venezia. They are in the Serie B. They finished 5th, so they're not promoted, so there will be Serie B next year. But they're rich, looking at their finances. It says they are rich, and it looks like, I mean, obviously they've sold a lot of players, probably been relegated if we can find some sort of history on them. I don't know where you see that these days. Club history. I mean, they bounce up and down from the 1st and 2nd tier pretty much every year. So they finished 19th the season before, and then finished 5th. So they are no strangers to the Serie A. There's a lot of other jobs become available. Still waiting to hear back from Monaco, but I don't think that one's likely. They haven't really bitten. Viborg, I guess, have come up. I mean, a few others, like Mönchengladbach, have come up, but they just don't. Something about it doesn't interest me, whereas Venezia, I haven't managed in Italy in ages in Football Manager. They've got rich finances. They want us to use the youth system. The supporters like defensive football. That's the only thing. Teams are not allowed to sign non-EU players from abroad. I didn't know this. That would mean then probably that we couldn't sign any of the English boys, which would be a shame. Is that the same? See, that's not the same in Germany. Is this the same for all Italian clubs? Do we have any other? Don't think we have any other Italian clubs available. That's very interesting. So non-EU players we couldn't sign. Doesn't mean I don't want to sign for them, but I do like to sign me an English player. That would be a shame. And it seems like it's just a hard and fast rule that you can't sign any non-EU players. That actually puts me off it a little bit. So he's Ivory Coast. So how does that count? Because he's Ivory Coast, which is obviously Africa. So how does that count for the non-EU thing? Maybe he was at maybe he was at Denmark when he was younger. I mean, I'm going to apply for it because I think it's an interesting one. But not being able to sign English players would definitely, it's definitely a little bit of a slight. But I suppose that would be the same. It's nothing to do with Venezia. It's to do with the league. So that might. I don't think it rules Italy out, but it definitely makes it less appealing. So we'll apply for it, see what happens there. I don't think we're going to get the Monaco one. They just don't seem interested in us at all. Is there some rules we could see for Serie B? Does it say this? Da, 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 da. I mean, it doesn't say anything in here about non-EU players, but more. I mean, this B team thing doesn't. Yeah. Players who play 50 or more matches in the top division are ineligible. I'm guessing that's around the B team things. Very confusing, the Serie B. I didn't realise in Serie B you even had B team. I mean, that's terrible. Under 23s for Juve and Inter. I mean, they don't do very well, so clearly doesn't matter. And they finished fifth, so we wouldn't be inheriting a terrible squad that needed a massive overhaul. But definitely disappointing that we wouldn't be able to sign any English players, because obviously England no longer in the EU. But we'll apply for it. I guess we can just see, can't we? We might be able to do something with that. But we've applied for that. Nothing else screaming at me at the minute. I mean, if we go to Monza, see, they don't have that transfer policy. So is it? Maybe it's a Serie B thing. So once we got promoted to Serie A, then we could do that. Maybe it's just a Serie B thing. So I guess if we got promoted, then we could sign English players. So that's less of a concern. But they're rich. And yeah, let's apply for it and see what happens. Well, another job's come up, that I definitely have a little bit of interest in. Feyenoord of the Eredivisie has come up. They finished 6th, which I think wouldn't be any Europe. And they are a little bit of ways away from the teams in and amongst it. But it is. I mean, is that an interesting one, Feyenoord? I think it could be. I feel like that's a really nice bridge club for us. Someone we could go to. They've got loads of good players that I recognise, but they're all leaving. I don't mind it. I do not mind Feyenoord. I won't apply for it just yet because I'm not convinced on it yet. I don't think anything else has come up that interests me too much. Midtjylland, yeah, probably not too interested, but definitely, I mean, the Eredivisie could be an interesting one. I would have thought there was some kind of conference league though with the Eredivisie, which is confusing me. So European playoff places. Well, there is definitely Europe, but I don't know how it works. Okay, Sparta Rotterdam won that. So I guess Feyenoord wouldn't have any Europe next year. And they went out in the Europa League this year. So they didn't win the cup. And they went out in the round of 16 of the Europa League. So, I don't know. Interesting one, I guess, with Feyenoord. I guess we can apply for it and then see what happens. But those three, I think, all would be pretty good. Any of them come back. Obviously, Monaco would be mint. But yeah, if any of them came back, I mean, we don't really want to be applying for B teams, so that's out of the question. But at the minute, Venezia is kind of the one that I'm looking at and thinking that's the most interesting one. But a good bit of money at Feyenoord. Obviously, there'll be some good youth coming through. Could be a good one. Could definitely be a good one. Especially if we maybe only did a few years or something, then moved on. But no, it could be a good one. Well, there we go. Maybe a slight reality check for us that we haven't reached that level of management yet. I suppose when you think about it, we are only leaving a team in Sweden, so maybe we should, lower our expectations slightly. I like that though, that we're getting knocked back from jobs like that. So I was like, I don't know about Feyenoord, but they've just said no. So maybe a bit of a reality check. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that makes sense. But yeah, nothing. So we're not going to be getting the Feyenoord job yet. Not heard anything back from Monaco or Venezia. Really interested on Monaco because we applied ages ago. Nothing else has really come up just yet. Um, I would probably avoid Russia just because they're not in Europe, so that's not very interesting. Um, but yeah, I mean, maybe we need to be applying for some other lower jobs. Maybe I'm aiming too high, but I'd rather aim high and then have to jump back down. Um, yeah, I guess Monza could be one we apply for now, but I guess we'll kind of see. But yeah, I'm still hoping Venezia. They're no longer shown as rich, which is slightly worrying. But I'm still got my fingers crossed on Venezia. But we may need to look at something like Switzerland or Poland or something like that. Maybe just we need a little step up rather than making a huge jump. But for now, I think we continue on. Hopefully, get an interview at Monaco. Probably not now. We're not going to get Monaco. We're not getting Feyenoord. But maybe get an interview at Venezia. Um, and yeah, we'll go from there, I guess. So to no surprise, Monaco came back and said, get stuff. So we're definitely not getting the Monaco one. So at the minute, just the Venezia job is what we've applied for. A few other jobs have come up, but again, nothing really standing out. I guess Sampdoria of the Serie B could be interesting. Tenerife. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I think I'm honestly looking more like should we go to like a Switzerland or a Poland or something like that? Like where's the Swiss Super League? That's 12th, so there's it's not a bad shout, I guess, but we'll see what happens with Venezia. That's the one I was kind of hoping for anyway. But at the minute, we'll keep going on. But yeah, not going to be Monaco. Well, this is actually a first. Leicester have actually approached us as instead of us applying for a job. Now, like I say, I am avoiding England in this save, but it's very interesting that Leicester of the Premier League have actually approached us, and they're not even relegated. They actually would have remained. We would be managing in the Premier League, which would be huge. But unfortunately, we can't go to England in this save, so we are going to have to decline it. But that's weird to me that we're not getting the Feyenoord job, but Leicester, which is a bigger job, really, if you look at the money involved and the stature of the league and things like that, are offering us a job. So maybe it's the English thing that they've just but I don't know. But we're not accepting it because, like I say, we are avoiding England if we can in this save. One thing I am looking at is maybe Lech Poznan could be a shout. Polish division, 13th in Europe. Bit of a gap. Obviously, the team at the top seemingly doing quite well. I mean, they've got some players for the division. This could be a decent option. So I think I'm actually going to apply for it, and then we can at least do the interview and see what happens. But I've applied for Lech Poznan. We can see how we get on. They finished 4th in the league just about last year. But if you look at the media prediction, they are meant to be the best team in the league, and the team that won it are down in 5th. So it could be an interesting one. No one I really recognise too much, but they've got a pretty decent sized squad. So we could obviously recoup some money by selling a lot of the squad on. But we've applied for that one. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, very interesting that we've been approached when it's a bigger club than more ones we're getting denied from. Well, there we are. Maybe this is the sort of level of job we need to be jumping to instead of trying to go right up to the top 5 divisions in the world. So Lech Poznan have pretty quickly come back with an interview. So we are going to attend the interview and basically just see what they said. So Piotr Malik, the board are pleased that you've taken the time to attend today. There are a few questions we would like to ask to see if you are the manager we want to take the club forward. Let's get started. Can you ease concerns that you've never previously managed in this country? I've always been keen to manage in the country. Yeah, go on, we'll do that one. You so far only managed one team. I've got a lot of loyalty, mate. Can you handle the step up this job would represent? So they still think that's a step up. Yeah, football's football. I've got good results in the past. Can you explain why you appear to be in the running for a few jobs? I mean, really just two. Yeah, if the jobs are vacant, I think it's fair to explore it. The club will be looking for a candidate capable of performing to competition expectations. Um, I mean, have I ever really underachieved? Record speaks for itself. Comfortable working with the DOF? Sure, I always just say yes to that. We have no expectations for this season, obviously. Expectations of budget will be set in the build up to next season if you are hired. Well, I'd really like to know what the budgets are, but there we go. No, don't need anything else. I think there's a good chance we get offered that job. At the minute, nothing else really standing out. Would expect other sackings to have happened by now, but not really seeing anything. But definitely keep an eye on this one. This could be a decent step up. More money, not really too much in terms of like you must do this, you can't do that. Don't see any reason why we couldn't bring English players in. The match squad must have at least 3 under 22 players. Doesn't say they have to be of Polish descent though, so I don't think they do. Um, can't play for more than 2 clubs. Here we go. So squad registration. This is where you need to pay attention. Minimum of 3 players trained at the club, 5 trained in the nation. We only need 5 Polish players in the squad, and because they've got good youth at the club anyway, I think we'll probably be fine. So it really depends on sort of the money and things like that. I mean, there's some money at the. I mean, there's not, the prize money isn't huge in the league, but I think the money should be okay. I don't. There's no one really at the club that I'm too aware of. There's not really anyone. There's only one person out of contract. He's 36. I think he used to play for Birmingham. Yeah, he did. So there's definitely a squad to work with that doesn't need like huge surgery. And look, there's a lot of valuation there, so I do think we could do something. And I think if we were to apply for this one, that would be the kind of club where we could bring some BAIK players in, and they could make that step up. Which is, I do want to try and bring a couple of players into my new club if possible. But we'll keep an eye on it. It's definitely not a bad one though. It's definitely not a bad one. Done Shredder in the Slovakian league, top of the Slovakian league. That's an interesting one as well. Like a team is lower than Sweden though, so actually it's not that interesting, is it really? But that's the kind of thing. Like if you're going to go to a lower nation, you really want a huge club, or like the biggest club there. But definitely like the look of Lech Poznan, that could be a move. Well, there we go. We have been offered the job at Lech Poznan. It's a big wage increase. We were on like £280 a week at BAIK, so it's definitely a step up. And I mean, if we look at this, 7.7 million transfer budget and 350k wage budget already, and they really just want us to work within the wage budget and challenge for the title, and then from there they want us to kind of win the league. So they are looking for pretty immediate success, but I don't think that's out of the question for the club. At the minute, I mean, there's nothing else except Venezia, but that's the second division of Italy. Is that really a step up? If we look at Serie B, that's 34th in Europe. So I know you said you may get promoted and then you're in a top 5 league, but if you just compare the leagues now, it is a step down. My worry is we sign for these and then something else comes up that I would quite like. But looking at the other insecure jobs, maybe outside of Benfica, there's nothing really. And would we even get that? Probably not. Like we probably wouldn't get that job. So I think this is the best one. Now we haven't heard back from Venezia, which means that they're probably not going for it. Lech seemed quite keen on us. They offered the interview quite quickly. And like I say, it doesn't have to be a club we stay at forever. I think it could be a club we stay at, work at for a few seasons, and then go from there. They aren't spending crazy money on. I mean, they've got quite a lot in this lad, Bradley Baxter. But we can kind of judge it as we come in, can't we? They are missing a goalkeeper, but I think it could be a good option. They don't really have any Europe to play either. So it would just be the league for the first season. I think we're going to go there. I think we've got our new club, so we'll see what they want. It's only a 2-year deal, which might not be bad. I mean, we obviously spent a lot of time at BAIK, but we don't have to spend as long at Poznan. A 2-year deal seems fine. relegated. We're not going to get relegated. I'm going to ask for a bit more money though. I'm going to ask for 3k and see what they say. 2.1, so they've already went up. But we say 2.5, 2.1. What about 2.3? 2.1. So it is going to be 2.1 now. We could delay it to see if anything comes up, but we are rapidly approaching the 1st of July, and I want to be in the door before the 1st of July, because that's when free contracts come up. So I want to know exactly who is good enough in the squad, you know, what can we do with it, what do we need, and then have that room to move players on and get more money in before we bring players in. Now, the only other thing is, I don't think, so with Venezia, there was the whole, you can't sign non-EU players. I like to sign English players at these teams. It's a lot of money. It's more money than we had. We're earning more money, and it's more money than we had at BAIK. It's a better league, and it could be a good club to be at for 2 years, maybe 3-4 years, right? And just get some league titles under our belt, because this is a team that we can definitely challenge in the first season for the league, or even win the league first season. So I'm going to accept it, and we have just confirmed our second club here in the Euro Journeyman. So Lech Poznan is going to be our new club. We are going to do a whole episode, next episode, on introduction to the club, going through the squad, and then maybe even get started a little bit with the transfers, because I don't want to do the new club episode and the transfer special in one episode. I think we do need to split it out slightly. But next episode, we'll go through the entire squad, introduce ourselves to the club, and we've got club number 2, Lech Poznan. So we're going from Sweden to Poland. Very excited. But thank you for watching. We've found our second club, and next episode, like I said, we will get into the mix of it, find out everything about Lech Poznan, analyse the squad, and get started on some transfers as well. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Euro Journeyman, and I hope you see you all for club number 2 very soon.